What's up, turds? It's Sean Crew, Team Duascent here, bringing to you another video. This time around, it's going to be a deck profile video on a deck that I was highly debating on taking to the most recent Dallas Regional, and that would be Magnamon ARMORS. Magnamon ARMORS, I believe, has a very good matchup into several decks in the format. That would be like both Imperial decks, in my opinion. Let's see, the Galacti for sure. Magidramon, and arguably Royal Knights as well, because you can just go burr and go crazy with fire rockets. So bad matchups are definitely any decks with aces. So that would be the adventure deck, and that would be what else? Angels. Angels for sure is a really rough matchup. I ended up taking Magidramon and getting 4, so I'm happy I did that, but I think I would have done very well with this deck if I had chosen to take it. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and give you guys the sauce. Starting us off with our eggs here, of course, we only have one option really, and that would be Demi Vmont. So Demi Vmont is all turns, if this Digimon is 2 or more colors, gain plus 1k. Obviously really comes up. It's the most important into Royal Knights. Because Oryukin is a problem, so you need to be able to get over 16k in order for your Magnamon to survive. There are ways to do that in the deck, and I'm going to show that in a little bit here, but the DP egg is definitely really nice, especially with the big bodies running around. We have 4 of the promo Vmon. If you have a tamer, you can reduce the Digolution cost by 1, so that can come up really clutch. But mainly what I love it for is the when attacking, you get to draw a card if it's 2 or more colors, which basically every level 4, and the Magnamon is multicolor. This is the best rookie to start with at the start of the deck, or at the start of the game. Basically at the start, I'm always going into Vmont, this Vmon, and then I'm saving the new one for later. Speaking of the new one, this is the we have 4 of the BT-21 Vmon. When this Digimon would digivolve into a Digimon card with armor hero, reduce the Digivolution by 1, and then it gets plus 2k. So and it's not once per turn. Everyone knows that by now. Really good for getting those reduced evos in, and being able to go into multiple armors in 1 turn is definitely the strength of the deck. The plus 2k again is very necessary into matchups like Royal Knights, where your Magnamon needs to be over 16k at the start. At the start of the turn. I'm sorry, 15k. For last rookies, this is kind of a short rookie count. I know it seems a little crazy, but I had to make space for a lot of cards. We have the BT-12 Searcher Vmon, search top 3 for an Imperial or free, and then the Davis. End of turn, you don't really have to worry about the Jogress, or he's mainly there just for the searching potential. That's pretty much it. You do play a lot of Davis, and everything is a free, so being able to potentially add 2 is really good. Next up for the level 4s, very simple. We have the 4 of starter Magna. You have to run this at 4. It's just so good as a security bomb, especially against decks like Magidramon. If they, let's say they go into their Magidra and they swing and hit this, it's going to go down to their War Growl, and they're not going to get their the trash effect, and it's going to battle killing the War Growl. So really tough for Magidramon when this comes out, and it's really good if the when digivolving effect in itself is very nasty, because you get to trash Digolution card based on the amount of colors, and then you get to bounce something with no sources. So that can come up really clutch against Royal Knights and anything with no sources. Next up for the Magnamon lineup, we have 4 of the super rare BT-8 Magnamon. This is really good just to push aggression. Gaining massive amounts of DP and unsuspending is really good for the deck, especially when you get to cheat out reduced or free Digivolutions. Can never complain with an unsuspend and more DP. Last up for the Magnamons, we have two of the new BT-21 blocker armor purge. Everything has armor purge, but blocker Magnamon. This Digimon unsuspends, and it gives minus 2k for each card with armor form in its traits. So especially in the late game, this card is really, really good. I like the other Magnamons just because they you can play them. They're a lot better early, but this one can come in clutch at the end of the game. Being able to unsuspend is always good, like I said. Now for the non-Magnamon armors, we have two of the Lyrammon. So Lyrammon has piercing, and then suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then this Digimon gets plus 2k until the end of your opponent's until your opponent's turn ends. Really good for suspending those annoying blockers, getting over those annoying rookies as well, and just being able to push aggression is also very good. On top of the Vmons, these two Vmons, Lyrammon goes for 1, so that's really, really good for being able to push aggression for a cheap amount. That's always really nice. But the blocker effect, being able to suspend blockers, is very, very good to help push aggression. Last but not least, we have the two promo Flamedramon. Flamedramon, there's a reason why this card is so expensive. I mean, yes, it is a promo, but it is so good for the deck. Being able to raid and activates its effect to bounce top security to the hand, creating a window for your Magnamon to get its when Digivolving effect is really, really good. Just playing it as a 2 of, I've seen some lists running at 1 of, but I personally like it as a 2 of. That's it for the level 4s. Now, of course, it's a Magnamon armor, so you got to run Magnamon himself. So we have 3 of the Magnamon. I don't need to explain too much. He's a big-ass blocker with armor purge and immune to Digimon effects when you swing into security and when security gets removed. Really good for pushing aggression. Really good for walling off those annoying decks like Magidramon, like Imperial, both the Imperial decks. And like Galactimon as well, because this Digimon is unaffected. Sure, they're gonna activate Rad Cannon, and it's gonna trash everything, but you're always gonna be able to block and stop the last swing, right? So that's where I really like Magnamon in that matchup. Not much to say about this card. I mean, everyone knows that Magnamon X is one of the most broken cards. Now for the level 7 lineup, we have 2 of the Paladin, BT-17 Paladin mode. This is the secret sauce against Magidramon, and it's not really a secret sauce, right? I feel like this is common knowledge at this point that Paladin mode is one of the strongest cards in this format. Therefore, you have to run it as a 2 of. Some lists I see don't even run it at all. This is one of the most clutch cards in this meta, like hands down. Against Royal Knights, you're pretty much always gonna. Well, I shouldn't say you're gonna always, but there's a high chance that you're gonna get that memory gain back because you are also running too. You are also running into that potential. But again, mainly into the decks like the Imperial decks or especially Magidramon, you can just go into Paladin and then call it a day. It doesn't matter if they pop it with let's say like a Gallant or something. If you manage to just completely get rid of their trash, it's so huge because they're dead in the water. They basically have to reset and restart. And if you can stop their OTK from happening like that, then that's perfectly fine. Against Galacti, obviously this card's really, really good for trashing all the sources and bottom decking all of the Vmont back to the bottom of the deck. So mandatory 2 of. I will not accept anything less than that. Especially in this meta with Magidramon running around. As a Magidramon player, I can tell you that Paladin, this matchup is horrible, and it feels almost unwinnable with Paladin. Now for the last level 7, this one was inspiration from Dwight Lee. Shout out to Dwight Lee. Jasmine GX. It is a blast on top of the black, so since Magnamon X is a blast card, I can blast Digivolve on there. Place a royal knight from your hand or trash as Digimon's Digolution card. Bottom Digolution card and delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. So let's say it already has 15k or +3 and it's 15k. Then you go into Jasmine GX. It's gonna be like a 19k, basically 19-20k, which means you're gonna be able to delete basically every Digimon out there, most Digimon out there. That's it for the Digimon. Next up, we just have the Tamers. So we have 2 of the BT-3 Davis Motomia. Don't need to say much. It's a memory setter. Search top 3, add a piece. You need all the consistency you can get with a deck like this, and Davis is the best memory setter. Next up for the Tamers, we have 3 of the new BT-21 Davis. I was running this at 4, but it felt kind of clunky with it at 4. I'll be honest. I mean, it's nice. It's like a nice to have and like preferred to have, but running it at 4 feels almost too much. So that's why I bumped it down to 3. If your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory, start of main phase, and then by suspending this Tamer, trash the top card of your armor form and draw 1 and gain 1. So basically, you're just gonna do a self armor purge. And that's really good for cycling and gaining an extra memory. And that can combo off with a lot of cards, just like the new BT-21 Vmont. I don't really need to explain that one. And the new option as well. So this card's really, really good. Again, it would be cool as a 4 of, but sometimes it just feels very clunky. That's it for the Tamers. Next up are our option cards. So we have 3 of the Blue Man Boost, 3 Blue Man Boost. I really love this card. I mean, I prefer Blue Man Boost over training just for the fact that you pick up up to 4, right? And also you can pop your Man Boost to activate option cards, as opposed to like, let's say like trainings, you can't really do that. Or let's say if I want to play a Tamer down or something like that. Training can be a little awkward. Also, training's only search top 2, which I'm not as much of a fan of. With that being said, I run 2 mental training. Same reason as Blue Man Boost, you need to have consistency in your deck, and mental training is that. Now, last for the searching options, we have 3 of the Armor Digolution. Real top 3 added Davis and a free, so that potentially a +2 a lot of the time. Then place it in the battle area, and then the most important effect is that when this top card of your armor form is trashed, delay, and then it can digivolve into armor form for free without paying the cost. Now that is the strength of this deck. Again, this feels very high roll. I would like to run this at 4. But similar reasons as to the Davis Tamer, it feels kind of like overkill sometimes. I'll have a lot of this in my hand most of the time, and I'm just like, I kind of wish it was like something else, you know. So I'm happy with it at 3. I'm gonna keep it at 3. I could be convinced to have it at 4, but it's kind of weird because your arm, in order to make most use of it, your armors have to purge. So if you don't have the new Tamer, and let's say your armors live, it's kind of like a dead card in hand, as opposed to like a mental or a boost, where that's always going to be a useful option to have, right? Next up, it's an armor deck, so of course you have to run 2 Fire Rocket. Fire Rocket gives something side +1. In security, it'll delete an opponent's blocker. So really good against Omni. Don't need to say too much about that. Fire Rocket, that's how you cheat out and steal a win a lot of the time. And just push aggression, overall aggression. Next up, we have 2 armor texture. You can activate it if you have an armor form without needing the color requirement, but you would trash your armor, and then you can digivolve it into an armor form for the Digolution cost, and you unsuspend. So that's important to note, because that can really, really push aggression. But you don't have to, right? You don't have to. It says then you may digivolve one of your Digimon. So like, let's say you have armor Digolution comboed, and then you just like, let's say you don't have Davis and Ken that's active. You can use armor texture instead to purge, to self purge, and choose not to digivolve. And then let's say you're like 0 memory, you can use the armor Digolution to digivolve instead to keep it going. Now, last but not least, we have 2 of the newer options. We have one Island of Adventure and one Jedi's House. Island of Adventure, really love this card. All of your level 30 Digimon get plus 2,000, and then add your top security. The main is add your top security to the hand. Place this in the top face-up security card. So basically, you're giving all of your Digimon plus 2K, which is important again into the Royal Knights matchup, because with the DP egg and the Vmont, your Magnamon X is going to be 15K, right? Because 12 plus 3, that's 15, and that's still enough in the kill window for Oryukin. So you need the extra 2K from both of these to be able to survive that. Plus, it's really good to just like have the threat of these a lot of the time. So for the security effect on this one is you can play Island of Adventure. You can play a Tamer card without paying the cost, and then Jedi's House is basically the same thing, except one important difference is that it's plus 1K or plus 3K. So Island of Adventure is plus 2K. Jedi's House is plus 3K. So that's a bigger difference. And then same thing. And then also Jedi's House goes to the bottom, right? Bottom of security. One thing I didn't like about Island of Adventure is that sometimes I would activate Island of Adventure and they'd be like, all right, I'm going to swing into it. And then I wouldn't have a Tamer. I'd be like, okay, no effect. But with Jedi's House, being able to put it under security, you're basically going to guarantee that your Magnamon is always going to have that DP boost, right? So that's one thing that I really like about Jedi's House. The security effect is different. It does get to, instead of playing a Tamer, it plays a level 3 Digimon, which is really nice comboing with something like this to get that search off, or just like getting an extra rookie for that potential game-ending swing. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys like this deck profile. One suggestion that I would say is when I feel the strongest is like, basically I'm starting off with Vmon, and it doesn't really matter which level 4 I'm going into. Let's just say I go into Lydra, and then I swing, right, Armor Purge, and then go into like a Magnamon and then swing again. That's 2 draws. That feels really good. Or you just swing Armor Purges, then you go into like, let's say like the blocker Magna, right? And then boom, you have a blocker unsuspended. I don't really care about what happens to my first guy, but the following turn I'm setting up with Davis, right? I'm setting up with Davis, and I'm setting up with Armor Digievolution. Just because these combos are really, really good. Again, if you have this Tamer set up with this option, I feel like I'm in such a winning position most of the time, especially if, like, let's say my first stack, it lives, and like, let's say this whole stack lives, and then I'm able to just slow down the game with Magnamon. That feels really good, because let's say like turn first stack, go straight into Magna. This guy is like really, really good, high pressure, and then I'm able to set up with my option cards for a higher a higher explosive turn the following stack that I bring out. Anyways, that's that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to be posting a lot more. Now that I got my invite, I can focus more on just the fun part of Digimon. I hope you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.